You're not here to feel better. You're here to get stronger. You're not looking for comfort. You're searching for clarity. This message is not motivation. It's a reset, a mental correction. Because somewhere along the way, you started reacting to things that don't matter. You started flinching, explaining, apologizing for having power in your bones. That ends now. Today you train for war, but not the kind you see. The war that happens in silence, in your thoughts, in your reactions. In your ability to stay calm when the whole world wants you agitated. You want to know what makes a man untouchable? It's not muscles, not money. It's control of the mind, of the breath, of the storm inside. Mike Tyson didn't become the most feared man on earth because he hit hard. He became a force because nothing outside of him could shake what he built inside. You must understand this. The man who can stay silent when mocked, when doubted, when underestimated, that man holds true power. You've been taught that noise equals strength, that reaction equals dominance, but that's weakness pretending to be power. Real strength is stoic, cold, focused, not because it's empty, but because it's full of purpose, full of vision, full of pain that's been trained into precision. This message is not for the average man. It's for the one who's tired of being shaken by every little thing, who's tired of reacting like a child when he's called to move like a king. No one is coming to validate your pain. No one is coming to crown your silence. That's your job. That's your fire to build. The man you were meant to be, he doesn't flinch. He doesn't beg. He doesn't chase. He builds. He sharpens. He waits. And when it's time, he doesn't ask. He moves. Quietly. Completely. With no need for applause. Just impact. Just legacy. This isn't advice. This is a reminder of who you really are. You're not here to survive. You're here to command. I breathe through storms. I hold the line. Before I ever threw a punch, I learned how to kill doubt. That was the first fight. That's the real fight. You think it starts in the gym? No. It starts in the mind, in the voice that tells you you're not enough. The voice that whispers when no one's looking. You have to beat that voice. Every single day. Mike Tyson didn't just train his body. He trained his instincts to destroy hesitation. He trained his mind to respond with violence against weakness, but not toward others, toward the lazy version of himself. The soft voice, the fragile ego, the hesitation. All of that had to die. That's fight mentality. It's not about being angry. It's about being ready. It's about eliminating the space between the thought and the action. You wake up and you move. You hurt and you move. You fail and you move. There's no space for maybe. There's no negotiation with your old self. The man you used to be, he's gone. You buried him the moment you decided to commit. Because fight mentality is a decision. You decide to become undeniable. You decide to stop reacting. You decide to attack the weakness before it attacks you. And when you make that decision, everything changes. You no longer ask for motivation. You don't wait for signs. You don't need permission. You build your own rhythm. You own your own silence. That's what made Tyson dangerous. His presence didn't ask, it announced. You want to move like that? You have to earn it. You have to train it. You have to become the kind of man who prepares like he's already in the ring. Every day, every step, every thought. You move with pressure behind your back and purpose in your chest. There is no off day when you live in fight mode. There is no good enough when your name is on the line. You are your reputation. You are your discipline. And in this world, discipline wins, focus wins, clarity wins. You don't need a reason to be relentless. You need a reason not to be weak. That's different. Most people are fighting to look strong, but you're fighting to never be soft again. That's a war that never ends, and that's good. That's what makes it holy. Because this kind of discipline is sacred. This kind of fire burns away everything fake. It exposes the man beneath the noise. And when the noise stops, That's when the real one speaks. Your job isn't to impress. Your job is to become, to train past the excuses, to train through the doubt, to train until there's no version of you left that hesitates. The body follows the mind. So stop asking your body to move before your mind is locked in. Build the thoughts that build the man. Fight mentality is not rage. It's purpose without pause. It's control under fire. It's quiet violence against excuses. It's the ability to hold your breath when the world is gasping. And it starts with one choice. I do not stop. Not when I'm tired. Not when I'm doubted. Not when I'm invisible. Because I know what I am, and I know what I'm building. You don't flinch. You don't wait. You don't ask. You rise. You repeat. You dominate. There's no plan B. You're not training for approval. You're not chasing validation. You're chasing legacy. You're building gravity. And when that gravity pulls the world in, you won't need to say a word. They'll feel it. In how you walk, in how you breathe, in how nothing shakes you. Because you trained for this. Not to be loud, not to be liked, but to be unshakable. That's fight mentality. I don't flinch, I don't fade, I finish. You think the fight is out there, but it's not. It never was. The real war is inside, and it's personal. Every morning, you wake up with two voices in your head. One says, "You've done enough." The other says, "We're not finished." One says, "Take it easy." The other says, "Take the throne." One of them is lying, and you already know which one. There's a weak version of you that doesn't want to die. It wants to negotiate. It wants to survive. It wants to explain why you're tired, why it's okay to slack off today, why you deserve to rest. But you don't. Not yet. Not while that version still breathes. Because if you don't kill it, it will kill your future. You were not born to play defense against yourself. You were born to conquer. You were born to destroy your excuses, not decorate them. That weaker version of you, it's clever, it talks smooth. It hides behind comfort, behind past achievements, behind fake humility. It knows your fears. It feeds them. That's why it's dangerous. And every day it survives, your power fades. You cannot rise if you keep making room for the man you were supposed to outgrow. You cannot evolve if you keep feeding both wolves. One of them has to starve. The weak one. The one that flinches when it's hard. The one that craves approval. The one that reacts instead of commands. You are not that version anymore. You've outlived it. And now it's time to bury it. For good. That's what the war within demands. No spectators. No applause. Just decision. Brutal decision. The decision to become who you said you'd be. No matter how you feel. No matter what they say. No matter how long it takes. You build it anyway. You show up anyway. You keep moving anyway. Pain is not your enemy. Doubt is not your enemy. Your enemy is the voice that says you can't face them. And that voice lives inside until you silence it. With action, with repetition, with refusal to break. This isn't about pretending to be fearless. It's about refusing to be controlled by fear. Tyson said, "Fear is like fire. It can cook for you, or it can burn you alive. What matters is how you hold it. What matters is whether you use it or let it use you. You think warriors don't feel fear? They feel it first, but they walk anyway. They walk straight into the chaos, and they don't blink, because they know, on the other side of that fear, the real self is waiting. You have to go through the fire to earn your own name. The war within is not about victory. It's about becoming unfuckwithable, not invincible, but unshakable, calm in pressure, clear in noise, cold in the face of panic, because you've met the worst version of yourself. And you didn't flinch. You faced it, fought it, buried it, and now? You walk different. Not because life is easier, but because you've become harder to break. That's what it means to win the war inside. It means silence becomes a weapon, stillness becomes strategy, pain becomes fuel, and weakness becomes a memory. You don't escape it. You outgrow it. Every time you feel tired, remember, that's the weak version asking for a chance to speak again. Don't let him. You've already heard everything he has to say. Now it's time to move, to train like the old you never existed, to breathe like nothing can break your rhythm, to walk like the war is already won, because inside, it is. That man you used to be, he's gone. This is the new code, the new breath, the new blood. You are not recovering. You are rising. This is the cost of command. This is the war within. And you don't stop fighting, not until the silence speaks your name with respect. I buried my old self. I rise without apology. You want to grow? Step back. Step into the silence. Step away from the noise, the validation, the need to be seen. Nothing great is built under applause. Nothing solid is born in crowds. The real ones train alone, heal alone, build alone. You want strength? It's in the quiet. You want clarity? It's in the repetition. You want power? It's in the routine no one sees. Isolation isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's the space where excuses die, the place where identity is forged. And you've been running from it. You've been trying to grow with eyes watching, likes stacking, hands clapping. But that's not growth. That's theater. Growth is invisible, silent, repetitive, cold. It happens when no one texts you, when no one checks in, when no one claps for your discipline, and you show up anyway. That's the power of isolation. It strips you, it humbles you, and if you stay in it long enough, it rebuilds you. Stronger, sharper, colder, not heartless, but focused, not numb, but precise. You want to be unbothered? Then stop depending on the world to see you. Let them forget you. Let them doubt you. Let them assume you fell off. Good. Let them. Because while they're watching someone else, you're training. While they're talking, you're transforming. While they're scrolling, you're sharpening. Every man who ever became something had to vanish first. Into work, into pain, into silence. You think Tyson became a machine surrounded by noise? No. He trained in shadows, in sweat, in silence. And when he stepped into the ring, he didn't speak, he announced. That's what you're becoming. But it starts here, in the exile, in the solitude, in the boring. There's no secret to greatness, just work, repetition, and brutal self-respect. If you can't respect yourself when no one's watching, you don't deserve to be seen. You want to be untouchable? Then get comfortable being invisible. Stop performing. Start becoming. This is the season where you disappear, not to retreat, but to rebuild. Not to hide, but to ascend. They'll ask where you went, and when they see you again, they won't recognize what you've become. That's the power of isolation. It turns silence into structure. It turns pain into protocol. It turns time into territory. Every hour you spend in silence is a deposit into your future dominance. You're not wasting time, you're buying command. You're building equity in your own legend. But only if you do the work when it's cold. Only if you stay when it's silent. Most men leave. They quit when it gets quiet, because they're addicted to noise. But noise is weakness disguised as momentum. If you want peace, you have to earn it in stillness. You have to train until the silence starts to speak back. That's when you know you've arrived. When the room is quiet and you feel full, not empty. When your own breath becomes your metronome. When your own thoughts no longer betray you. When you become so present, nothing can shake your pace. That's the gift isolation gives you. Presence. It breaks the need to impress. It shatters distraction. And it implants focus like a weapon in your mind. The world doesn't need to know what you're doing. They'll know when it's done. They'll feel it when you walk back in the room. But by then, you won't care who notices. Because you didn't train for them. You trained to be untouchable, unshakable, silent, but absolute. You train for the man you're becoming, in the dark, in the cold, in the quiet. That's the power of isolation. I vanish to sharpen. I return like I never left. You fell? Good. Now prove what kind of man you are. Not in the wins, not in the flex, but in the silence, after you lose, after you're humiliated, after they turn their back. That's where your code is written. Anyone can smile when they're winning. Anyone can speak when the crowd claps. But who are you when no one believes in you anymore? Who are you when your name disappears? That's the test. That's the fire. Mike Tyson didn't just rise. He fell hard. He lost everything. The titles, the image, the respect. And still, he came back. Not because it was easy, but because he remembered who he was when it wasn't. That's the comeback code. Not just getting up, but getting up with more than you had before. More focus, more silence, more fire. See, failure doesn't break you. It exposes you. It strips the fake layers. It removes the borrowed confidence. It burns the mask. And if you let it, it will reveal the man underneath. That's the one who comes back, not the performer, the savage, the one who doesn't need approval, the one who doesn't fear the fall anymore. You know why? Because he's learned to fall forward. He's learned that falling is part of the sharpening. You get cut. Good. Bleed discipline, bleed memory, bleed purpose. Let every drop mean something. Most people avoid failure, but those people never learn. They never become. Because you can't build legacy without losing first. You can't train your character in the comfort zone. The weight that broke you last time? It's now your weapon. If you carry it right, it makes you heavier, denser, more anchored. You don't forget the pain. You fuse with it. It becomes part of your rhythm, part of your breath. So when the hits come again, and they will, you don't flinch. You just absorb, adjust, advance. That's the code. You rise with scars, not shame. You move with memory, not doubt. The ones who never fail, they never grow. But the ones who fall and study the impact, those are the ones who become legends. This is the secret no one tells you. Failure is sacred. It's where your ego dies and your essence is born. It's where your fake confidence cracks and your real identity steps through. You want to come back stronger? Don't forget the fall. Replay it, study it, use it. Your fall is the curriculum, the blueprint, the forge. The pain that tried to stop you? Make it pay rent. Build muscle from it. Build stillness from it. Build hunger from it. The comeback code isn't about revenge. It's about revelation. It's about showing yourself what you're really made of once the audience is gone. You don't return for applause. You return because the job isn't finished. You return because the fire didn't die. It just burned underground. And now, it's ready to rise. You're not the same man who fell. You're colder now, cleaner, sharper. You don't need noise. You don't need validation. You've outgrown both. What you need is the next test, the next wall, the next ring, because you've trained for it, because you've coded it in your bones, because you've already rehearsed this moment in silence. This is your rebirth, not as who you were, but as who you chose to become. Every comeback starts in the dark, in the doubt, in the dust, until the breath returns, until the fists clench again, until the silence breaks. And when it does, you don't speak. You show up. You execute. You end the debate. That's the comeback code. I rise with memory. I strike with clarity. You want to change your life? Change your rituals. That's where power hides. Not in talk, not in goals, in rituals. Daily, relentless, repeated until your DNA adjusts, until your bones recognize the rhythm. A beast isn't built by chance. He's built by habit, by small, quiet choices repeated with intensity. You wake up early not because it's impressive, but because your mission doesn't wait. You train not to be seen, but to stay sharp. You breathe slow because chaos is coming, and you'll meet it calm. You write your thoughts because the weak mind leaks. You stretch because tension is a liar. You move because motion is memory. Every act you repeat becomes who you are. And if your rituals are soft, you'll stay soft. If they're scattered, you'll stay lost. The beast builds systems, simple, ruthless, sacred. This is how Tyson lived. Early rise, same meals, same training, same silence, same focus. The world changed, but his rhythm didn't. That's what made him terrifying. You couldn't throw him off, because he trained deeper than circumstance. His rituals weren't for fight night, they were for life. And that's the mindset you need now, not to impress, not to post, but to dominate quietly, to rewire who you are through repetition. You eat like a weapon, you rest like a weapon, you speak like a weapon. Nothing is random, nothing is careless. Your rituals are a mirror. They show what you really value. And if they're built on comfort, you're not ready. But if they're built on fire, silence, and structure, then you're dangerous. You don't rise by accident. You rise by alignment. And alignment comes from practice. Daily, brutal, boring, necessary. You do it until it feels like breath, until it feels like you. The weak man needs variety. The beast needs rhythm. That rhythm becomes identity. Wake, breathe, move, think, execute, repeat. No emotion, no debate. You do it because you said you would. You do it because it's your standard now. The world can burn, you still show up. The market can crash, you still train. Your phone can be silent, you still focus. Because your rituals don't respond to the outside, they answer only to the mission. You want to stay unbothered? Then build a structure that outlasts distraction. Set your mind like stone, stack your days like bricks, protect your time like treasure. No loose mornings, no wasted evenings, no room for weakness. You train your breath. You guard your energy. You honor the silence. You say no often. You move on purpose. These are the daily rituals of the beast. There's no glamour, just fire, no noise, just breath, no validation, just inner command. And the truth is, no one will see 90% of it. That's good. It means you're doing it right. The world sees the outcome. But you fall in love with the process. You stop needing rewards, because the ritual is the reward. The man who trains alone becomes untouchable. The man who repeats becomes remembered. You want legacy? Start with routine. You want clarity? Protect your hours. You want power? Build rituals that remove the question, what do I do now? You already know, because it's written in your day, because you chose this rhythm. And now, this rhythm chooses you. It owns your posture. It guides your tongue. It controls your pace. And the best part, it can't be faked. Ritual exposes the weak. It also reveals the ready. Which are you? That answer is in your day, in your decisions, in your disciplines. This is no longer training. This is translation. You're translating your vision into structure, your identity into action, your destiny into time. And that's the real transformation. That's the daily code of the beast. I don't chase results. I repeat the standard. You made it here? Then you're not who you were. You crossed the line. You broke something inside and rebuilt it stronger. That's not hype. That's reality. Most people hear words. You felt them. You didn't flinch. You didn't scroll. You stayed. That alone makes you rare. But now comes the choice. You can walk away and go back to reacting. Or you can walk forward with something colder in your chest. Something unshakable. A new identity. One that doesn't respond to noise. One that doesn't beg for comfort. One that wakes up with purpose and ends the day with precision. This identity isn't built on how you feel. It's built on what you've decided. You've decided to become untouchable. Not loud, not flashy, just absolute. You don't explain anymore. You don't flinch anymore. You don't follow anymore. You lead, silently, violently, decisively, from the inside out. That's how the shift happens. Not with emotion, with structure, not with hype, with heat. And that heat, it stays with you now, in how you breathe, in how you train, in how you pause before reacting and choose to dominate instead. You are no longer reacting to life. You are designing it. You are no longer hoping for strength. You are living it. You are no longer trying to prove anything. You are the proof. Walk like it. Think like it. Train like it. Build rituals that reflect who you already are, not who you're trying to become. Because the becoming already happened. In the silence. In the repetition. In the decision to show up when it didn't feel good. That's when the real shift clicked in. Now your job is simple. Don't let it fade. Don't let the old voice sneak back in. Kill it every morning. Starve it every night. Live above it every hour. This identity is not temporary. It's permanent if you guard it, if you honor it, if you sharpen it every day with motion, silence, and refusal. No more asking. No more performing. No more waiting for the world to believe in you. You're already built. You're already chosen. You're already dangerous. All that's left is to move accordingly. And that's exactly what you're going to do. Starting now, I move like it's already done. I walk like my name is carved in stone. So what now? Are you going to scroll back to your old self? Or step into the ring as the man you were meant to be?